What's going on, everyone? This is City Wrestling Radio, and we just watched WWE PayBack 2020, and boy, oh boy, I feel like we have a little bit of payback we got to get off our chest about PayBack. But nonetheless, we're going to talk about it, everything that happened on the show, including the pre-show that I unfortunately watched.
Who are you again?
I'm Corey Smith. I'm joined by my co-host today, joining me from the B show, making his main roster return just for the night. It's just a one-night deal.
They made me wear a shirt.
Yeah.
I usually do these B shows shirtless, but they just have no faith in my body.
And also, we just took the first part of your theme song and added it on to a new theme song, and it made complete sense. So, but you're Michael Vergara.
Yeah, I am. It says so in the name tag right there.
It absolutely does. Yeah, how are you today, sir? You good?
I just felt like I watched a main roster WWE pay-per-view.
So I think that about sums up how you felt about WWE PayBack, right? It wasn't that great.
Yeah, totally. At least it was shorter than usual.
It was about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, they know how much of, because this being in the Thunderdome, they make sure that they take that into account now. They're a little bit self-aware of nobody wants to watch 3+ hours of this setting. So let's just tighten these up a bit, keep it easier on ourselves and the people working on it. So they got that going. They got that thing going for them.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was the only thing about the show. I mean, I think there were some highs, and then there were some really, really lows.
There were creamy middles and dizzying lows.
I mean, I don't know if there were any creamy middles. Were there? I mean,
that tag team was actually above average, in my opinion.
Oh, I mean, there's some good, like I said, there's some good stuff on the show.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about all of it, though. But before we get into all that, I'm going to ask you at home to like this video. And if you want to keep following us at City Wrestling Radio, click the subscribe button down below, wherever it is. I think I can see the overlay now, so I can point to it. It is right over there.
Okay. All right.
There, yeah.
You got it.
At CWR4 and 5, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date with us and everything we post, including cool things we post on Instagram, cool little fun facts. You're just like, oh my God, I didn't know that. And you're like, well, now you do, thanks to us here at City Wrestling Radio. And you can tell all your friends.
Even if you didn't ask for it, we'll just be in that room and be all like, well, actually, you guys.
Actually, did you know today was the day that Owen Hart debuted? And actually, he wasn't the blue blazer. He was the Blue Angel first. So I'm just saying.
Was he really the Blue Angel? I've never heard of that before.
He debuted as the Blue Angel, and the name was changed a couple months, I believe, after to the Blue Blazer, and then he just quickly became Owen Hart after he was let go, and then he came back afterwards in 1992.
Well, that explains everything.
I don't know why I know so much about Owen Hart all of a sudden, but
there's no reason not to.
Absolutely. Like I said, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at CWR415. All right. Let's get into it. Let's just talk about the entire show. Starting from the first match of the night, which I didn't really take any notes on, but I have something to say about it because it was really weird. It was, I guess, the Riot Squad, or Live Right, or Live to Right, or Right to Live, or whatever the hell they're calling themselves now. The team of Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott versus the Iconics.
Yeah, to make sure the cameras were on and everyone's audio levels were good. All right.
It's the pre-show.
That's what these pre-shows are, in my opinion.
They're kind of like us before we start recording. Really. Yeah, you good? All right.
We are recording right now.
All right, let's I hate you too. All right, bye. No, I'm kidding. It was just one of those matches where it wasn't good. The only thing about it just really was weird is that Ruby and Liv come down wearing matching attire, and Ruby decided to have this match. She decided to have this comeback with Liv, but yet there's times where she's messing with Liv, oh, you want me to tag you? I'm not going to tag you because I'm Ruby Riott. And I'm just like, why did you go through all of that trouble to book yourself in a tag match with Liv Morgan if you weren't going to tag her in? It made zero sense to me.
You're preaching to the choir, Corey. It's just it's a lot of hard work, and it was just not enough messages were just being conveyed in this certain situation. I am just livid by the Liv Morgan and Ruby
antics.
Riott saga. You look at me in my face. Look at the enthusiasm and passion I have.
You
for
look
this.
really excited about it. After the match, they go to the commentary table and they're like, "We live to riot. We riot to live. I guess we're back." And they don't want to call themselves the Riot Squad because, Sarah Logan's not involved anymore. They don't want to bring her up because she doesn't.
That's what every friendship needs, honestly.
Yeah. Just to kick out the third person, right?
Of course.
That's horrible. I don't like that idea. I like a good 3-person power trip. A 3-person commentary table. It's always the best in my opinion. I mean,
you think 3 people are the best?
No,
I think 2.
I think a 3-person podcast is the best.
Oh yeah, fuck this podcast.
But no, well, that's true. I am kind of bearing our own show at that point. Anyways, let's continue to the main show. WWE Payback. Bobby Lashley versus Apollo Crews. I actually thought this was a great opener to the show. I'll be honest. These guys.
Okay, might as well just lift the veil a little bit. I did not check in until the Big E versus Sheamus match. So pretty much I just didn't watch this match.
Both men grapple to begin the match. Lashley slams Apollo down. They go back and forth, leading to Apollo giving Lashley a moonsault off the apron to the outside of the ring. Lashley then puts Apollo on his shoulders, slamming Apollo head first into the ring post, eventually hitting the Dominator on Apollo in the ring, followed by a kick out. Standing moonsault to Lashley, kick out after 1. 2 Germans and a frog splash to Lashley, followed by another kick out. They go back and forth. Eventually, Lashley hitting the full Nelson, or what he calls the full Lashley.
Volume adjustment incoming
for the submission victory. So I really love that. I thought it was a really good match. I give it a 7 out of 10 because I'm rating these matches.
Well, how do you rate Apollo Crews' title reign?
Oh, in the great
illustrious
scheme, the great scheme of he did fight for it. He had some good defenses.
Oh, he fought from what, according to your.
I would say 68 out of 100. Out of the top 100.
In a percentage wise, you give it a 68. All right.
No, number 68 out of the top 100 United States champions.
Are there 100 United States champions?
I mean,
there can't be.
Without history and if you include other WCW, I'm sure there's 100.
even including WCW, I don't think there's 100 United States champions.
The illustrious United. Let us know if you at home are smarter than us. Let us know in the comments below. But like I said,
that's what we need.
This is a really good opener. It was time for Apollo. I thought it was time for him to lose the title to someone in the Hurt Business. I only wish the build to the match was a little bit longer with him and Lashley. I know him and the Hurt Business have been going back and forth.
97 different champions, by the way. We're close.
Altogether,
so we got
is that just WWE? Or is that really? Damn.
Overall.
Oh, overall. All right. Well, that sucks. I was 3 away. We're almost there.
Yeah, we're almost there.
He's number than 70 of the top 97.
That's the spirit.
After the match, the Hurt Business, they take a bunch of pictures, and for some reason there's this weird picture filter on the screen. MVP gets the cameraman, brings him to the center of the ring so they can all take pictures with the title, and then all of a sudden you see pictures with a black background of them live in the ring, just standing still, and it was quite a sight. But their last
happy days are here again for the Hurt Business.
Their last pose was a tribute to Chadwick Boseman, the actor who passed away recently.
Rest in peace.
The actor who portrayed many actors, and a lot of you might know as Black Panther in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
T'Challa himself, yes. Hey. Our deepest condolences.
Yeah, man, it was all of a sudden
significant bummer.
It sucks.
So that happened, when I found out about that, when I found out about that, I was at a birthday party in Golden Gate Park. People were wearing masks. People were following the rules. That was her favorite actor, and that was her favorite Marvel character. And so I told to my friend and 2 of my friends, hey, listen, make sure that she doesn't find out about this. And then I want to say less than 30 minutes, there was one of the dudes, he just saying, oh, hold up, wait a minute. And then one of my friends oh, he's gonna say it. And he totally said it, and she was significantly bummed out, to say the least. And I was oh, damn it, cat's out of the bag now. Yeah, but nonetheless, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman.
Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman, and And condolences to his friends and family.
You are at peace now.
Yeah, but then Apollo just attacks the Hurt Business after they do the Wakanda Forever pose, and I'm just like,
oh,
okay.
yeah, great.
Okay, that's what we need in our baby face, right?
That totally baby face is Apollo Crews, just being a fucking sore loser.
Although our co-host who could not be here today, Jose Oseguera, he did point out that Apollo did do the Wakanda Forever pose while he was on the top turnbuckle at a certain point. I didn't see that part, but apparently it happened. So, I mean, hey.
Who am I to doubt, Jose?
Everybody should be paying tribute. Well, I'm not saying you have to, but if you like the guy, go ahead.
It's on right now, actually.
I think on ABC commercial free, right?
Yep.
That's pretty cool. Kayla backstage outside Roman Reigns' locker room. She wants to know if he'll sign the illustrious contract that was given to him for the match tonight, the triple threat match. Because he didn't sign it at the end of SmackDown. He wanted things changed. And now, because he's aligned with Paul Heyman, right? What do you think of this Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman thing?
Honestly, if you want, you want to give me my opinion on that allegiance now. I think that the mere fact that it's Paul Heyman with Roman Reigns immediately kind of cuts the wings off anything interesting of a Roman Reigns heel run.
Yeah,
because we're just gonna get the same old. I feel like we're gonna get the same old song and dance with Heyman attached to Roman Reigns instead of Roman Reigns kind of carving out his own identity with this character change. I don't think it's up to the benefit of Roman Reigns. Granted, we haven't seen it yet, but the writing's kind of on the wall because they're asking Paul Heyman to, have Roman Reigns be a Paul Heyman guy, and you're just gonna get that, like I said, same old song and dance, and it just.
Now AJ Styles is gonna have to go to Raw. I don't want to work with Paul Heyman. I don't want to be on.
That's the interesting
SmackDown.
part. Yeah, well,
I don't want to be on SmackDown anymore.
It has to be like some sort of rib on AJ Styles' part.
I just got here like a
Every
year
time
ago.
you mention AJ Styles, you have to talk like you're that Georgia accent. I know.
You got to dress like his brother, who dresses like him.
I have no doubt in my mind that AJ Styles will at least kind of
watch our podcasting.
No, be a professional about it. I would just imagine like, hey, this happened. It's all water under the bridge. Paul Heyman, he's in the same building. Don't mean I don't have to work with him, but he's there. But yeah, that's interesting.
But Heyman doing Heyman things when Kayla asks, he just I didn't even write down what he said. He just said a bunch of Heyman. Like, what do you think? Is he going to sign the contract? I will make a prediction, spoiler. Just the same old, like you said, same old stuff from Heyman. So it's the same tone, and yeah. Keith Lee backstage with JBL to try to offer him to make a buy-in for an investment opportunity for a $1 million buy-in.
You should ask Shawn Michaels for that advice. See what happened to there.
Did Shawn
Hint,
Michaels?
hint. Shawn Michaels had to be JBL's slave.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's true. You never heard it? This was during the fucking recession, and they tried to convince, and so Shawn Michaels apparently borrowed money from JBL because Shawn Michaels made some questionable investments in the.
Was this storyline?
This was a storyline.
Okay.
And so there was that storyline where JBL just made Shawn Michaels be a slave because he was in debt to him because it was 2009 and everybody was apparently broke. And we were supposed to convince ourselves that Shawn Michaels' salary did not pay the bills.
No.
He had
a lavish lifestyle. Wow. Remember that.
Anticipate that storyline for Keith Lee. Him being JBL's, yeah.
JBL tells Lee if he wins tonight, he'll be on his way to making that $1 million. But if he loses, that's all right. It's Randy Orton. Okay.
Oh, sure, wow. Yeah. That's just booking. That's just good booking right there.
Right on, JBL. Thanks. I appreciate it. Whatever. And then we go to the most important point of the evening where Michael shows up to the show. Big E versus Sheamus. First, Michael comes into the room. He sits down. He takes in a big whiff of the air.
Open my new tab in my Chrome browser.
Yeah.
To say, oh, Sheamus and Big E.
Well, look at that.
Testing out the contrast in my monitor.
Why is Sheamus not in his Dropkick Murphys gimmick more often? And why do they have like some stuff like with him in it and some stuff with
I don't
him
understand
not?
what Dropkick Murphys like. Just like, do you want him to just up the Irish a little bit?
Yes, I do. Also, well, there's points where he's wearing like a what they call a wife beater, the white tank top, the hat that's kind of like.
So you want him to come out looking like Andrade Cien Almas's NXT debut?
No, not
He's
at all.
the overalls and the
has
hat.
he has his hands taped like he's a bare knuckle brawler. He has like that. He had that cool jacket that Dean Ambrose had when Dean Ambrose was heel.
Because I was already like halfway through the match when I checked in. So,
anyways,
I
mean,
this.
do you remember Sheamus when he was battling Jeff Hardy in the bar?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I know. I know what you're. Okay, now I know. Now I remember.
Okay. So the two are going back and forth. Sheamus dodging the apron splash by Big E. Sheamus wearing down Big E, working on his legs with a series of submissions. Eventually, Big E building a comeback with 2 belly-to-belly splashes or slams to Sheamus, followed by a Uranagi slam. Modified sharpshooter to Big E, which looked good. I liked the modification of it. E fights out, knocks Sheamus to the outside. Big dive to Sheamus. Sheamus goes for a bro kick. Is caught by Big E for the powerbomb, slamming him down to the mat. Then we eventually get the big ending, the pin, and the win.
You forgot one spot where Sheamus just fucking drills Big E with a V trigger. Like, just
really?
The highest quality of thigh slaps to Big E that you can possibly imagine.
Oh,
that probably popped Randy Orton in the back.
I give this match a 6.5.
This match was pretty good from what I saw, actually.
It was pretty good, yeah. The beginning of the match was a little slow, but the ending I thought was really good.
They worked very hard.
And I can't wait till Big E is the main event face going against a top heel champion. I think that's going to be great. And I can
stroking my beard, and thinking.
And then Big E, he does Big E things and goes.
No, he just goes up to Corey Graves and is like, "Hey,
tell you people,
I'm talking to you."
Yeah,
son of a bitch. Yeah.
Yeah, he's basically yelling him. But it's funny because at a certain point, you could see Big E still yelling, but he is just like this close to smiling and laughing.
Oh, yeah. No, he almost corpsed. Big time.
But it was great. I loved it. And then we get the introduction to, I think, your moment of the evening, the backstage interview with Matthew Riddle.
And Alice Ashton, which is apparently her first day.
Ashton or Ashlyn?
Ashton, because it was spelled like Ashton Kutcher in the Chiron.
Okay. Well, apparently she's another robot they created in the WWE Performance Center because
this is her first day.
It's
not not a great first impression. I know she's you're automatically just gonna get compared
Dasha.
to Renee Young or Dasha.
No,
I mean, Dasha's. What do you mean by Dasha?
How she's great in AEW.
Oh, okay, yeah.
WWE, she was a complete robot, and that's the WWE style. They want you to talk like that when you're building up.
Ladies and gentlemen, my guest at this time, Baron Corbin.
Even my boss told me not to do that when I did it for a radio thing. She's like, stop with the weird.
Ladies and gentlemen, my guest at this. Did you say that?
No, I did not say ladies and gentlemen, my guest at this time, Baron Corbin.
Okay. Well,
no. If WWE wanted me to do an air check, I would do that for him. Anyways, so she basically asks him about how he feels going into his match tonight against Baron Corbin. And then all of a sudden, I feel like Riddle was putting on the robot vibe too a little bit.
Well, more or less, make sure you get the talking points.
Know.
Get the talking points across that you are assigned. You know?
Yeah, I guess.
It's like he was asked bullet points. He was asked to deliver these bullet points, but he just straight up read the bullet points out loud.
He's just like, what it was is that Baron Corbin is not good, and he sucks.
And they also called him, and also Ashton calls him the bodacious barefoot bro, because you got to hammer that home. The fact that he has no shoes.
Oh, he's a wacky one, isn't he?
He's bodacious.
You know,
look at that feet, bro.
And then also they call it his alleged sexual assault.
So what they pretty much Ashton brings up the tweet from King Corbin that he tweeted this afternoon, stating he'll prove he's a failure in the ring just like he's a failure at home. And you could see Riddle had to have been
told about it ahead of time.
No, he had to have signed off on this. But then part of me just feels like the reaction that he had, where he just had let out, like, he was just smiling, and then I was like, and just walks away.
Yeah.
Like, that's, if you were to tell me if Meltzer himself told me that was actually a shoot, I could definitely see it, because there was just a bit of uncomfortable. It's super uncomfortable. Like, this entire fucking working an alleged rape and abuse and infidelity into this storyline, using one of the speaking out stories, just casts an unnecessary shadow into this match. Like, you're expected to have, like, am I supposed to feel sorry for Riddle after telling me that he's a failure at home, or just the fact that they're going into this? Like, what exactly are you trying to tell me here?
His wife, it's not like she was mad at him. He didn't ruin anything at home. His wife was like, didn't happen.
Oh,
Sorry.
his wife was, his wife, Lisa Riddle, is especially at the forefront of, like,
Lisa Riddle.
That is, like, she is especially at the forefront of just making sure that Riddle maintains his career out of this, which, like, she has her opinion on this, but then who else kind of has her opinion on it also is Candy Cartwright, the person who is pretty much the victim out of this entire situation as well.
Yeah, and they're essentially, I'm sure this is not going to get brought up again on next Friday. I'm almost positive.
They brought it up today. Might as well bring it up again.
Because WWE does that. They bring up stupid stuff like that, and then they just drop it.
We'll see how it is. I mean, like, you really don't know, because the amount of you would think, like, with the amount of negativity, we'll just go with it. Bruce Pritchard. Oh my God, my heart's palpitating just at the sheer thought of this.
Well, no, it's not a good. I'm bad with my fucking impersonations lately. Anyways, yeah, it's bad. Bruce Pritchard, if he is the one at the heart of this story, then it's bad, man. Like,
again, how am I supposed to feel about Matt Riddle then? And even if I don't know,
maybe they're trying to get Baron Corbin.
That would just flock me to research whatever he has going on, and for me to think, like, oh, that's what's happening with Matt Riddle. Oh, like, am I supposed to garner sympathy from what I'm reading about that shit? Like, now you're just shedding a light into that as well, and it's so counterproductive.
It's all right, because WWE can do stuff and say stuff like that, because WWE fans usually, they don't go on Twitter, they don't, like, look into, like, people's personal lives. The push of him, is it his fault? No, because WWE is still pushing him, whatever allegations are put in place. But you can look at that with, like, Austin Theory, and now he's back on TV, after allegations against him. So, at Velveteen Dream, there was allegations.
Again, it just goes to show it plants the flag of where WWE is deciding to put it in. You know what I mean?
Oh, I agree. Well, they want to be edgy. They want to blur the line between reality and. You want to know if you don't know if it's a shoot or if it's a work. You don't know, Michael. Do you? Do you know? Because I honestly don't. Anyways, let's continue to the match at least. Matt Riddle versus King Baron Corbin, back with his illustrious sedan with the giant box underneath. Riddle hits a clothesline. Riddle hit by a clothesline as soon as he gets into the ring by Baron Corbin. Corbin then stomping away on Riddle. Riddle then would get some brief moments of holds, locking Corbin into a sleeper onto the mat. Corbin has control for most of the match, eventually knocked out of the ring, though, by a kick to the head. Riddle then battles back with a running knee to Corbin, deep six, followed by a kick out. Bro to sleep, followed by a floating bro to Baron Corbin, and the pin and the win. And I did not like this match.
Oh, Matt Riddle. Oh, he's off to greener pastures. Despite him being a shitty husband, he beat up the guy who called him a shitty husband. Oh,
that was funny. Well, that was
give me my ticket. Here you go.
Yeah, the match sucked. The match sucked.
Thunderdome.
The match sucked.
It was a Baron Corbin match. I did not give a single fuck whether or not it was going to be a good match or not. It is still this is still the framework that they're still working with, like, regardless of how good that match is. Like, I'm still thinking about that that fucking interview beforehand. So, like, they, from the get-go, the entire foundation of this entire program is just broken.
With the work in of the, I don't know if that's what WWE's trying to fucking call it, or if they think we're just that stupid that we don't know and they're trying to call it something else. But the alleged sexual assault storyline plus a slow Corbin match, it was just all a cringe-worthy affair. I give this match a 3 out of 10. I had to adjust my score after things. I was going to say a 4, but then I was like, no, it doesn't feel right, man. It doesn't feel right after talking about it. 3 out of 10, in my opinion. Because it was a shitty match. After the match, though, Riddle walking away backstage, and he's happy because he's just like, "Dump Baron Corbin off to greener pastures, bruh." And then was Alyssa? What's her name? What was the new interviewer's name? Michael?
Alyssa Ashton.
Alyssa Ashton. She asks him what his plans were now, and then he's attacked from behind by Baron.
I'm gonna have another pay-per-view match against Baron Corbin, who have no doubt in my mind is gonna bring this shit up again. Like, even if you disconnect that entire like speaking out thing, it's framing Matt Riddle as the babyface and the heel bringing up the fact that he cheated on his wife.
Yeah,
this is just that. I don't know. Oh God, why would they fucking do this? Why?
WWE, dude. That's why.
Is it just because they just want to just generate outrage? I genuinely believe that is one of their main drivers. Like, they just want people to be mad and like, oh, but you'll still watch anyway. And
well, the more people are mad, the more people are tweeting, the more they have hashtag payback
without ever actually putting effort into being good. So they'd rather just have this. It's easier for
shock
them.
Value. It's shock value.
It's easier to generate outrage than to actually, put out a good product. And
it is.
That's just
Santa's not real, kids. There, see, Santa's not real. I just went off the deep end. I got all controversial here, trying to generate some ratings.
Again, I can't believe I'm saying this, regardless of the rape allegations. It's so terrible.
Yeah. Men, next match of the night, the Golden Role Models versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. What did you think of this match overall?
Baszler looked real good.
I was
the star of that match.
I was going to say Baszler, and Nia Jax had brief moments of looking good in this match too.
Nope.
You don't think so?
Nope. I think she's useless.
Okay. Well, Baszler tags herself in to start the match. Baszler and Banks officially start the match. Baszler has control early on, taking out both Bayley and Sasha. The best friends, as Michael Cole keeps calling them. I guess they are best friends of WWE, the best friends of the WWE. But
who am I to doubt that? I mean, whatever.
Well, I think
you can't copyright best friends.
Intergender tag match. Best friends versus best friends versus the former didn't win best friends, Kenny Omega and Nakazawa.
Michael Nakazawa. Yeah. Keep going. I got to close my window.
All right. Eventually, Sasha hits the two amigos to Shayna Baszler, leading to a spot where Banks tags in Bayley for a double team move, and then all that Bayley and Sasha have to do is pick up Shayna Baszler and slam her down, and they just drop her in the most awkward way possible, like right on her head. Shayna Baszler.
Well, like I said,
Jax swings Sasha into the barricade after Banks was caught with a Hurricane Rana attempt. Jax hits the leg drop, but Bayley locks in a knee bar. Knees all around, courtesy of Shayna Baszler. Andrew Justice just subscribed to City Wrestling Radio. Thank you, Andrew Justice.
How do you get that?
Because I am the administrator of the account. Gut wrench slam to Banks by Baszler. Nia hits a double splash in the corner. Sasha, oh my God. Spot of the night right here, though. Sasha hits a face buster to Nia Jax.
Wait a minute. This is going to be your spot of the night.
Okay. It's one of my spots of the night. I'm sorry. It was just so good. I really loved it. She hits a face buster to Nia Jax after Nia lifts her up for a power bomb and slams Nia down hard on the mat. And it's like, damn, it looked good. Just saying.
I guess.
Let's see. I was going to pull up what Jose have to say about this. Shayna locks in the leg lock, eventually to Sasha, and then simultaneously locks in the Kirifuda clutch to Bayley, and then use Sasha's arm to submit Bayley.
So what she does is that she applies. So what Baszler does, she applies the Muda lock on Banks, and then while Bayley is about to try to stop her, she applies the Kirifuda clutch and then uses Banks' arm to choke Bayley, and then forces Bayley to tap. And
that was cool.
It's very clever. It was quite the cool finish, and this did wonders for Shayna Baszler. But then they are clearly positioning Nia Jax as the person who's trying to leech off Baszler's success. As we have that very, very great storyline of the tag team champions just not getting along with each other, because we've never seen that before.
You know what they are? They're the team in class that you just get when you get paired with someone random, but you do a good job. Like, you guys got an A on a paper, you guys work together, and you're like, oh my god, we got an A.
It's like that episode of That's So Raven where Raven, it's a chemistry class, and there's a chemistry experiment, but then she's partnered up with the smelly kid, but then she wants that A, but then she has to tolerate the dude's smelliness, and she can't tell how much he smells.
Oh, I see the analogy you're saying here. So the smelliness is Nia Jax.
Smelly kid is just Nia Jax in general.
Is Nia Jax's wrestling? Let's be nice.
No! Am I being toxic right now because I'm being critical of Nia Jax, even though the only she has zero impact on any of her offense in her entire career, and the fact that the only impact in her offense is when she's actually legitimately injuring somebody. She's not like most girls, Corey.
She's not. I gave this match a 6 out of 10. It was one of the better Baszler.
Yes, let's stay positive here, in that Shayna Baszler was really good in this match. I know I've had my criticisms of Shayna Baszler, but hey, when good is good, it's good.
Yeah. Then we go to our next match of the night: Keith Lee versus Randy Orton. And maybe I'm wrong, but I swear that they added the "Bask in My Glory" part to Keith Lee's song tonight. It wasn't there.
It was there. It was there Monday.
Are you absolutely sure? Do you remember it there, or are you watching the replay? Because I thought it was added in. I don't remember it originally.
I'm sure someone will correct us.
I would hope so. Hit us up in the comments down below. But they go back and forth. Randy Orton, Keith Lee do. Hard slaps by Randy Orton and Keith Lee. Side slam to Lee on the announcer's table. Pounce, a kind of not so great pounce. Usually when you think of Keith Lee doing a pounce, you think of...
Oh, no, it was a safe pounce. It was like to Randy Orton. Like, he lands like to the outside, like in the safest, most Randy Orton way possible, meaning the most career-maintaining way possible.
Eventually, Randy sets up for an RKO, but then Keith Lee hits the Spirit Bomb, and it was a great Spirit Bomb. It's a really good Spirit Bomb spot. Me and Jose agree, but I didn't like this match.
Totally. No, this was a match that was very efficient. It did not overdo anything. What, did you want like 20 minutes out of Randy Orton versus Keith Lee? Because you know what you're going to get if you're going to get 20 minutes out of Randy Orton and Keith Lee? That fucking Karrion Kross match. Like, it's just another match. It would have ended up being another match where Keith Lee would have to force himself to wrestle the slender big man with tattoos who wrestles with a methodical pace. This, on the other hand, was a great way to make Keith Lee a star as of right now. Like, this is a major victory off right against a dude who has been booked so well over the past, I want to say, this entire quarantine era, to be honest with you, Randy Orton.
And don't get me wrong, it's a big push for him.
And to make this a statement for Keith Lee, even though I still think Vince just does not like his body, considering the fact that they made him wear a shirt, pal. Yeah. This was quite the statement they're putting in, and we'll see how it goes, you guys. What could possibly go wrong?
Keith Lee getting the pin over Randy Orton. The match itself, I thought it was just...
It was necessary. It was exactly what it needed to be.
I guess, but I felt like the ending just happened out of nowhere while Keith Lee was getting beat down for most of the match.
An ending out of nowhere in a Randy Orton match.
Yeah, but it was just... Usually when Randy Orton hits the RKO out of nowhere, it's really cool, and you're like, oh my god, that really was out of nowhere.
Well, this establishes that the Spirit Bomb is a big fucking deal.
A devastating maneuver. Yeah. But I give it a 5 out of 10, in my opinion. Let's move on to the next match, the tag team match, the semi-main event of the night. Ray and Dominik the Mysterios versus Seth Rollins and Murphy, the Disciple family. I don't know. Dominik goes right after Seth.
The greater good.
Are they really going by that?
Yeah, they used to. Now it's not anymore.
Dominik goes right after Seth when the bell rings, even though he's not the legal man. Seth, though, says, screw it. I want tagged in. I want to battle this kid. Dominik looked really good in this match, taking it to both Seth and Murphy. Mysterio Ray doing his lucha stuff and his lucha things. Gutbuster to Ray by Rollins. Cool spot where Seth throws Ray out of the ring, kind of baseball slide style, into Murphy, who has his knees up on the outside. I thought it was pretty damn clever. Assisted Falcon Arrow to Dominik. Rollins dodged the 619. Tornado DDT to Murphy by Dominik. Sling blade to Dominik by Seth. Everyone throwing punches back and forth. Codebreaker to the ribs of Rey Mysterio as he's coming off the top turnbuckle by Seth. Then eventually Rollins has Rey in a headlock. He tells Murphy, just kick him in the head.
Kick him in the head. Go for it.
Rollins picks Ray up for a power bomb, but Ray reverses with a Hurricane Rana into an Enziguri by Murphy. Ray then tags in Dominik. 619 to a frog splash. Dominik gets the pin and the win. I thought, fuck, man. I know, like, you can't really say a lot of this match was because of Dominik, because you really have Buddy Murphy, you have Seth Rollins, and you have Rey Mysterio in this match. But it was a 7 out of 10. It was a great match, and everyone made Dominik look like $1 million. The only thing I worry about is that when he's not involved with something that involves his dad, like eventually he's going to get into
he's going to have an actual test.
And not just eventually his dad's just not going to be around at that studio.
That's the thing. Dominik is involved with matches with 3 of the best workers of that entire company, in Rey Mysterio, Seth Rollins, and Buddy Murphy. Also, Corey, can you tilt your laptop a little bit down? Your headroom is actually kind of. I'm just realizing it right now. Keep going. There we go. Nope. Keep going. There we go. Nope. There you go.
All right.
But Dominik Mysterio, I still think he should just, if you really want to maximize Dominik Mysterio's potential, send him to LA. Give him Shibata. Have him get stretched by Clark Connors. Make him eat those forearms from Shibata and eat those Shanko Nabes. Have him sleep in a twin bed right next to Carl Fredericks, which I don't even think he's there anymore. I think he graduated. But
he's like, I got the apartment down the street, man.
Just take Carl Fredericks' bed in that room. That's the thing. If he really wants this, but Dominik, maybe
it's covered in
if he really gives. That's the thing. If he really gives a fuck about actually being a great wrestler. And he needs to get experience elsewhere. But then if this is what they're gonna do, if they're gonna coddle Dominik Mysterio into this to work this true WWE style, then no, that's his ceiling. That's what I'm saying. That's gonna be his ceiling.
What's his ceiling? And WWE?
Do you think? And look, not everyone's gonna be Charlotte Flair. He's like that. I think she is the only example so far into really learning from scratch in the WWE style. And granted, and she's and don't get me wrong, she's the example of this can work. But to see in Dominik Mysterio, we'll see how that goes, man.
Dominik's only been training for like a year and a half, 2 years with Lance Storm. 1 year, and look how good he is.
Yeah, that's
I mean, he has. What I'm saying is, that would be a great way for him to be one of the best slurs out there. By Baszler, I mean best wrestler.
Wow, that took me a second to realize that.
I wanted to help you out there. Mike.
What a fucking revelation, Corey.
But at the end of the day, he really can. He can learn to be a great wrestler in WWE with the help of people like Seth Rollins, help of Buddy Murphy, the help of everybody else on the roster, Johnny Gargano. All these people on the roster that he can utilize that are going to help him out and help him achieve this goal of maybe not being a world champion to the extent of his father, but, being out there and doing matches.
Or they could just forget about or they just had Rey Mysterio sign that long-term contract and then just beat him like a drum because, haha, we got you.
Well,
that could also
be a thing. They could. Yeah, it could be a thing. Let's see. After the match, though, Rollins is disgusted by Murphy, and he just walks away from him.
Yeah.
Anyways,
15 minutes and 58 seconds, man.
Oh, for that match?
Yeah.
It felt a lot
tag
less.
match. Like I said,
it was good.
Again, helps that Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy, Rey Mysterio were his dance partners.
Yeah. Then we go to the main event of the evening, what you would think was a triple threat match, but it really was for the first half of it. Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman in a no holds bar triple threat match. No DQ, because usually triple threat matches are no DQ, but this sounds cooler. So Bray comes out to the ring, but Braun is already in the ring to attack Bray during his entrance. Power slam to Bray, kick out. Sister Abigail to Braun, kick out. Back and forth. They battle up outside the ring. The Bray gets the giant mallet out of the ring. Braun tries to use the mallet, try to smash Bray into the stairs with the mallet. I hate that damn mallet. I'm just gonna say it. It's stupid.
Hey, it's crossed that line where it's so ridiculous that I kind of just like it, ironically.
Alexa Bliss is backstage twirling her hair, watching her what is Harley Quinn called Joker? Her bubby, or
Mr.
like
J.
Mr. J. She's watching backstage because she's been turned by Bray Wyatt. They battle up the ramp though, not Alexa and Bray, but Bray and Braun. Braun pounces Bray off the stage, knocking them both into a table. Eventually, they get back into the ring. We have a superplex to Braun, and the ring implodes. And I kind of felt like something was going to happen the entire night when somebody pointed out that, there's no LED boards on any side of the ring. And I was like,
I wonder what's going to happen. I mean, I'm not that like, okay, listen, I'm not above like saying, I noticed that. Like, of course it's going to happen. I didn't notice it. It's fine. But yeah, I think for the fucking 10th time in the history of ring collapses, it happened for the 10th time.
After Braun. Braun gets superplex off of the top turnbuckle. Out comes Roman Reigns, and then he just signs the contract.
He's cashing in the money in the bank.
I'm like, how does he get to sign the contract? I thought the contract, like, he would have to sign it before the bell.
Wouldn't it mean that, like, okay, he's just not in the match? Then he
wasn't in the match.
If he doesn't sign the contract, then they're just going to proceed with Braun Strowman. But then he signs the contract, and then it automatically makes it the triple threat match. Like,
makes no sense. Legality.
It makes no sense, but I'm sure there's going to be a weird explanation that I'm just not willing to fight for.
It's a contract.
I'm not willing to fight. I'm not willing to fight it, honestly, because it's a WWE show. You get what you're getting. Yeah.
Anyways, Roman comes out. He goes for a pin on both guys. They both kick out. Cole, I love how he just goes for a pinfall on both guys, and Michael Cole goes, Roman Reigns is probably thinking to himself, what else do I have to do? I'm like, well, get one offensive maneuver in. That might help. I don't know. Then eventually Roman Reigns gets the chair into the ring, goes for chair shots on Braun, kick out, and then we get the mandible claw on Roman, but Roman kicks Braun in the balls, and they both fall out of the room.
So a million curb stomps, a million slams. He will no matter what he will kick out of that shit. But a kick to the I'm trying to think of a Firefly Funhouse.
The jewels
on his balls.
The crown, the grapefruits, buddy.
Yeah, sure, why not? Grapefruits. We'll just knock him out. We'll just take him out.
I mean,
he'll probably kick out of it, but then Braun Strowman won't kick out of whatever the hell's gonna happen to him.
Eventually, right after that, they both follow the ring, but Roman Reigns gets right back in, hits the spear on Braun, and the pinfall, becoming your new Universal Champion.
Mine?
Yeah, well, you at home, your new Universal Champion. So I don't know. And so this is a 4 out of 10. I didn't like this match. It sucked. It was covered up by a million different things.
Go on.
The thing about heel Roman Reigns that I was saving to this point of the show to talk about.
Well, hold on. I like regarding this match in general, before we even get there, this is the new normal for WWE pay-per-views, like the fact that they have one right after SummerSlam. This is just another episode of their shows. Yeah. They needed to advance the storyline just so they can create angles going into the shows going into their weeklies, which are far and away more their priority as of now, because God damn it, we need those ratings. And so for this to establish Roman Reigns as your top heel championship holder, I think makes a lot of sense of what they're trying to accomplish, which was make Roman Reigns your top heel champion. So Roman Reigns being a heel.
Roman Reigns. So I honestly think, okay, it's not going to work, and here's why. And for a long time, we've had this Pavlovian response to just boo him, and not boo him in a sense like we don't like you, we want to see you get beat up. Like we a lot of times,
we just kind of just unleash our inner redneck whenever we just have.
Hey, you know,
South Park. I don't like the cut of your gym. I see you.
yeah, pretty much. But no, a lot of people, especially before Roman's diagnosis, a lot of people out there, and I was guilty at one point, they say Roman Reigns matches suck and we don't like him and he sucks, get him off my TV. It's cool, it's fine. But because
he's
had
definitely
that,
capable of great matches.
Yeah, absolutely. But because we had that, now they're trying to get us to boo him. I think we're all just going to go to that natural response of we don't want to see him on our TV. Boo, just get him the fuck off. But Baron Corbin heat. He's going to get Baron Corbin heat. That's not the type of heat you want.
I don't know. I think I think Roman Reigns has a level of legitimacy for him to actually just kind of assert himself in this certain aggressive way. He is 1,000 times more legitimate as a performer in general than Baron Corbin. So for him to like actually, you know, like let's see how he goes, how he goes with it, because you can't just, there was just something so look, everybody wanted him to be a heel because that was the natural response. You know, now we're at now we're at this certain phase of the game where WWE is deliberately trying to get that response. And when they deliberately try to garner a response, it usually fucking goes the other way.
Yeah, but I think
so for them to actually want Roman to be a heel, they're going to do a fucking terrible job at it because it's not natural. It's not what they want. It's not what, because they are never in tune with their audience anymore. I mean, they haven't been for the past 15 years, 20 years.
But I think that's what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to get us to be like, well, that's what you want him to be a heel, but we want to be a face now. Yeah.
And they'll fail. They'll never get that right. They'll never get that right, Corey.
I think everybody's just going to look at Roman and be like, I don't care.
Oh no, people are just going to just practice general apathy at this point. That's really what
you have. Shiny new teeth. I love it. I'm jealous of your new teeth, Roman. But that's about it. Maybe that was why he could be a heel. Maybe you could see it. He has better teeth than all of us.
And the Paul Heyman pairing also kind of clips it in the wings, because now you know exactly what you're gonna get out of that, instead of just like, let's hope they give Roman a good amount of time, like mic time. He's definitely that's the thing. He's absolutely capable of really great things. And it's just the way WWE positions him, and they're just constantly giving him unwinnable hands. Yeah. You know? But Roman Reigns, he is back in the fold. The title picture of him on top of it, being your Universal Champion. Brian takes it. I don't know. Brian wins the Royal Rumble, gets him in WrestleMania.
I think
in long term.
I think Big E's winning the Royal Rumble.
Either Big E or you get
Big E and Roman would be. I would like that. That would be cool.
It'd be hype. It'd be hype. And
yeah. No, don't worry.
One thing that I almost forgot to bring up was that in this show, I gotta say, the one thing WWE has over AEW is their pushing of black talent and people of color, and it helps that WWE signed almost all of them, or anyone of note of color, but there's always talents out there. But for WWE to really position, Big E, Lashley,
even Apollo, MVP,
and Keith Lee, just the way they utilize their talents, their black talent is for right now, is strictly in this bubble, no pun intended, in Payback, pretty encouraging, pretty great. And it's just something that AEW just needs to, that on top of their women's division, just something to really tightly consider. And, just as we bring up the whole the passing of Chadwick Boseman, that is a shining example of how impactful representation really matters in your product, and how it just creates this level of, I don't want to say unity,
inclusivity,
inclusivity, and just general goodwill to to what you got going in your fake wrestling fights. Like look with the fucking Kofi thing,
Yeah.
And then you got the whole Miz Big E dynamic going on in Talking Smack. Have you seen that still?
That was pretty good. Oh yeah, did we see it after the 5 times they played it on Payback? Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. You saw it off the Payback recap.
I didn't see the whole thing. No, I should go back.
The whole thing, which is highly edited. They framed that conversation as a strictly Big E Miz situation, but the unedited, unfiltered version, which is probably kind of hard to come by now, it really kind of opened an avenue of a conversation of, more or less Miz's privileged ignorance. His white, to lack of a better term, his white privilege, and bringing that dynamic and bringing up Kofi Kingston. If you didn't see that, if you're not able to see that, I highly recommend
you try
I highly recommend listening to the Andreas Hale, Dave Meltzer. The Andreas Hale, Dave Meltzer, and Garrett Gonzalez interview, because they do a lot. They have a really good conversation about that.
Yeah. No, definitely. And just think about like Big E as a world champion. Like, how good would he be? Like everything, he could be on Good Morning America.
He has
going
a lot
to see the kids. Did you see the back of his jacket today? It had the All That logo. It said New Day.
Of course, because the 90s. That's just because of the 90s. Because the 90s.
And the New Day get wrestling now. They get what the new fan base really wants, and how they want.
I feel like I feel like they've never lost it, or they've never. I'm not saying they've always known. They have always known.
Yeah. But I'm just saying they know exactly what I think the fan base wants nowadays, and so they're gonna do everything.
Which is 90s references.
Because that's what they want.
We struggle with the 12 to 34. I mean, we struggle to the young demographic. Might as well just bring up 9.
Yeah. What are you gonna bring up? What was it? Haystacks Calhoun again? That's what Vince does. Vince brings up Haystacks.
I'm gonna have Melissa Joan Hart escort me to the ring.
Actually, that would be pretty smart.
Right alongside the lady right alongside the lady who plays Alex Mack.
So when I was 8 years old, for 5 years, I wanted to turn 13 because I thought you would turn into water.
Oh, that always kind of scared me. Like, why does this lady know how to turn into water? What is the explanation? What was the explanation for that?
She got a toxic waste dumped on her while she was walking home from school, and she was
instead of lymphoma, she just gets superpowers. Oh, great.
Yeah. Because I tried it. Well, no.
Wait, doesn't she have like telepathy also, like telekinesis?
No, I don't think so. I think she could
my childhood consisted of Alan Strange more than Alex Mack.
My childhood consisted of X-Men the animated series and Spider-Man the animated series.
Oh, I'm strictly talking about Nickelodeon stuff.
Nickelodeon, Allegra's Window. I remember watching that when I was
Allegra's Window. That sounds super familiar.
What do you call? What was the one with the
Eureka's Castle?
Gullah Gullah. Come and let's play together.
One of the things that that just stuck with me as a kid in the intro is when the grown up dad, I think he's the dad, every time he does this in the intro, his watch always drops to his forearm, and that bugged the shit out of me. Like, you need to fucking tighten up the grip on your watch, sir.
I could see 5-year-old
like my 5-year-old self was just staring at him, said, "You need to get your fucking shit together."
Look at me. I got my plastic watch on tightly.
Also, in Little Bear, you ever seen that show, Little Bear? Why is Little Bear naked but his dad isn't?
Well, when you get older,
he wears a suit. Like, he wears a suit. When you get older,
everything drops and you can't hide it with the bear fur anymore.
Yep. I hate the fact that people my age, I'm 27. I hate the fact that people my age consider us 90s kids, and I'm like, dude, those Angry Beavers episodes, those reruns ran until 2004. I consider the aughts, the 2000s, those are when you can rightfully claim your childhood, but not the 90s stuff.
Well, I was born in 87, so I'm definitely a 90s
Who's asking, kid. Corey?
Anyways, guys, I think that about does it here for us. That was Payback 2020. Me and you, Michael, we're going to be back Tuesday night.
Oh, yeah, shit. Whatever. At least I'm not taking notes on that match.
Hey, not that night. Oh, fuck. NXT, we're gonna have full results and review a little after the show.
Whatever. I have to take notes on a pay-per-view.
Yes, you do. Anyways, then we'll be back the next day, Wednesday, for our AEW review, and then next Saturday is the big one, or next Sunday morning, next Saturday night.
That's Saturday. Hey, I'm planning on Saturday night.
Next Saturday night, our All Out AEW All Elite Wrestling All Out post-show review. We're going to be here. Hopefully it'll be all three of us. And we're going to be back, like I said, Tuesday NXT, Wednesday AEW Dynamite, Saturday night AEW All Out, and then Sunday morning episode 6.
I shouldn't have paused that. Fuck.
episode 6 of WWE Sunday Night Heat. If you haven't heard our SummerSlam 98 review, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Video's almost over. It'll probably be the next recommended video for you to watch anyways, because I'll probably try to make it that.
I'm not going to edit that out either, that pause. People are just going to have to find out.
You know
That's the thing. It gets people questioning, like, what was that awkward thing?
Sometimes our employees come in and hand us paperwork that we need, and,
Yeah, tell me how fucking good Jamal Murray is right now and upsetting my bracket. Jesus.
Anyways, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe at CWR415, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll see you later. Bye.
Da, na, na, da, na, 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 na.